Story 1. Never ever abandon it. My father abandoned one of my brothers. He is now 32, has a beautiful child of his own, is educated and very well off, and in a happy marriage. His life is nearly perfect, but he can't talk about our dad without breaking down and crying. That hurt him so deeply I doubt he will ever be able to heal from it. I try my best to be his favorite sister, but I can never fill that hole. Update, gold. Thank you, kind stranger. Story 2. My son is 6 now, and I would say remind yourself that your child doesn't know anything unless you teach it to them. It sounds silly, but I have to remind myself of this all the time. Story 3. Father of a 6-year-old here. You no longer truly have free time in the way you once did. There will likely always be something to do. Accept it. Once you do, you will find innovative new ways to make more efficient use of your time and get things done. Meal prepping for the week, getting an early start on things, even something as simple as laying your kids' clothes out the night before. All of those things will save you time and allow you a bit more time. Then again, I'm speaking as a single father. Story 4. Don't stress if you're doing a good job. You do what you think is best for your kid. It's going to be rough, it's going to be frustrating, and you're going to want to rip your hair out, but then they're going to laugh at you while you're playing with them, and it will be the best moments of your life. Story 5. Make sure you make time for you and your wife as a couple. Kids dominate your time, and it's nice to have an hour or so a day while your kids are asleep to just be with each other. Also, accept that privacy is now gone. If you are not in the room with your child, they will come to find you just to see what you're doing. I've lost count of how many times I've been in the shower, and one of my kids has sat on the toilet to talk to me. Most importantly, it's all worth it, and just try your hardest. Story 6. Babies cry. It's literally what they do. They do it to communicate, they do it because they are bored, they do it because they are frustrated, they do it because they are tired, and they do it for no reason at all. It's just what they do. Some men are wired in a way where a baby crying means that a problem needs to be solved, but in the case of a baby, sometimes there is just no problem to solve. The baby is just crying. If the child is safe, warm, fed, and clean, and doesn't just want to be held, the safest place for them is in their bed. Don't just sit there and let the baby scream in your face and make you upset. Set the baby down safely in their bed and check on them every few minutes, but they are allowed to cry in their bed. And never, ever, ever shake a child. Ever. Story 7. The crib is the safest place for your child to be. When you feel overwhelmed, frustrated, furious, or like you are going in 100 different directions at once, just set the baby in the crib, close the door, set a timer for 10 minutes, and relax. If you need another 10 minutes, take it. Go in the yard or sit in the car where it is quiet. When you collect yourself, go back and take care of your baby. Other than that, love the little one with everything you've got and you'll be fine. Just finished 7 months of parental leave. Story 8. I'm 26, and I have a 3-year-old, nearly 4, and a 1-year-old. The best advice I can give you is to bond with them. When your child is first born, you may find it very hard to do so. When I used to try night feeds with my daughter, or if she was upset in any way, there was nothing I could do to stop her crying. She only wanted her mother. This made me feel terrible, to be honest. I felt useless to both my girlfriend and daughter. But as a few weeks went by, we really started to bond. One thing the nurses told us was for me to have her lie on my chest naked while I was topless. It's an amazing experience, and you really do start to feel a connection. As time goes on, it gets easier to bond through play. I'm known as Silly Daddy, because when I play, I act silly to make them laugh. You don't have to play for hours straight with them. 15 minutes here and there throughout the day, down on the floor at their level. You will never experience a better feeling than coming home to find them bursting with happiness and excitement. You will never experience love like this with anyone else. Back to when they are newborns. There will be a lot of sleepless nights for a while. Your partner may be very down for a while after giving birth due to postnatal depression. Don't take anything she may say seriously, and just be there and listen to her. Embrace naps and let your partner nap too. It's terrifying when you hold a newborn for the first time, but it will come naturally over time. The sleepless nights don't last forever. My son, who is 1, sleeps 12 hours straight most nights now, but they go through periods of sleeping well and not. Here in Ireland, after the child is born and the mother holds and embraces it for a minute, the midwives hand the baby straight to you while they look after your partner. Truly terrifying, but being thrown in like that from the start really helped me overcome my fears. I apologize for any spelling mistakes. I typed all this on a phone. I truly wish you the best of luck. And coming from someone who thought his world was about to end, being a dad is absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me. Story 9. When they are grown and gone, and the house is just you and your wife, you'll be glad for everything you did with your kids. And they will be grown and gone much faster than you think they will. Story 10. Pick something out of the baby's routine that you are the main person responsible for. For example, a good one is bath time. Become the best bath time giver to that baby. Sing silly songs. Clean up afterward. Give your wife a well-deserved break. Bond with your baby and have fun. Story 11. It's going to be hard work. 1. Get off the couch and change a diaper. You can now watch highlight reels if you miss just 5 seconds of a football game. Also, video games can be paused. If playing multiplayer, remember your priorities. You can lose a match online and bounce back. You can't make up for lost time with your children. Hanging with your kids isn't throwing a tablet at them to quiet them. Take them fishing, hiking, make them play a sport, join the math team, do ballet, go to camp, do arts and crafts, etc. You never know what their interests may become. Sure, you may be obsessed with Roman history, but they may be into circuitry or Art Deco. Encourage their obsessions. If your kid wants to learn calligraphy or taekwondo, take them. Pay for it if you can. It may just be the thing they end up making a fortune from, or it may end up being what makes them happy. Don't ever discourage a child's dreams because you're lazy and want to watch yet another football game and get drunk. Your wife is an equal partner. This means learning to clean dishes, do your own laundry, vacuum, cook, etc. She's not a maid or chef, and if she is, lucky you. Help do food preparation or clean up or both. Kids will get on your nerves. Screaming at them or spanking should only be reserved for awful behavior like violence or bullying. For lesser offenses, put them in a corner or bedroom and ask them after a while what they did wrong. If they admit where they failed, they can go free. If they want to play defense, they can stay in timeout. Physical punishment does not alter behavior. This is proven. Son of Sam was punished and he still murdered people. You're going to bond more with your daughter because subconsciously, you know how men work and you need to run a defensive screen early and strong. This will help her avoid terrible choices in men down the line and improve your chances of a more successful set of grandkids. But don't forget your son. Make sure he learns to be a gentleman in life. Civilized men and women create better societies when it is their turn to build theirs. Because he may be Don Juan, but Don Juan doesn't produce Julius Caesar. Don Juan produces Don Juan Jr. and has multiple baby mothers. Get a babysitter you can trust and take your wife out to dinner often after the kids are born. Make her feel attractive. Nothing makes a woman feel less attractive than being pregnant for 9 months, then being cut open or giving birth. Make them feel like a woman again, an attractive woman. Dance with her, reignite the spark. She just went through a major event that lasted 9 months. There's a reason women are focused on their children. They just accomplished a very unpleasant and grueling 9-month project that changed their body, increased their stress, and required careful attention to health and doctor's visits. Sure, you thought about that too, but you didn't have something kicking you in the lungs at 3 in the morning. This is a list my brother-in-law's father gave to him, modified by me, of course. Story 12:1. You are raising an adult, not a child. The whole point is that by the time they turn 18, they shouldn't need you anymore. Parent as if you are going to pass away the day they turn 18. This means making them ready for the world, not protecting them from it. This is all a part of controlling your emotions for your child's benefit. Don't let your fears and hang-ups prevent them from growing the way they should. Don't let your desires for a dancer or a baseball player dictate their life. Suppress those impulses. If you have a daughter, all of her relationships with men are going to be modeled after your relationship with her mother. Give her a good role model. And since we are on the topic, Some fathers think threatening their daughter's boyfriends is something worth doing. Don't. That sounds really funny until you are the parent of the boyfriend that just got threatened with a gun. Story 13. A Dublin taxi driver said to me on the way to the hospital to see my son that they ruin your life, but you get to watch them turn into the most amazing people you will ever know. He then elaborated that by ruin, what he meant was that everything you currently consider an important part of your life becomes meaningless compared to the tiny person you just brought into the world. Everything else just kind of slips into the background. And he was right. Story 14. It's not babysitting, it's parenting. Correct yourself if you ever think or say it, and correct anyone you meet who says it. You won't sleep for a very, very long time. Whoever is working needs to bear in mind that looking after a baby is just as much work as your job. Take the baby when you get home. Take 10 minutes first if you have to, but give them 30 minutes off. This will pay off immensely in the long run. Baby caregivers develop a form of cabin fever. Keep an eye on them. Encourage them to see friends. Offer to look after the baby so they can make social engagements. If you cannot bring yourself to do this for altruistic reasons, think of it as a way to make your life easier in 12 months when they're not overwhelmed or looking for divorce. Babies don't bring couples closer together. They damage and strain a relationship. Don't have a baby to make a relationship work. It won't. You don't have enough changes of bed sheets. You don't have enough muslin cloths. Get used to thinking about the critical path, i.e., if the baby makes a mess everywhere, what do you do first to get the baby safe? Then clean. Then buy yourself enough time to clean up the mess. Baby clothes have snaps on the shoulders so you can pull them down a baby in the event of a mess. Discard any without snaps on the shoulder. Story 15. It feels hard to bond with a newborn for a lot of men. Push through it. Snuggle them. Feed them if you can. Comfort them when they're crying and so on. Moms are usually the automatic comfort because of breastfeeding and such, so it's easy to think you can't do that, but please do it. It took my husband a while before he started trying to calm our daughter, like 1.5 to 2 years, and truly bond with her. It was hard. I couldn't leave for too long because if she got upset, it was harder for him. He also still can't calm her most of the time if I'm there because she always wants me, since I always did everything for the first couple of years. That feels exhausting to me because I can't just tell her to go to daddy when she doesn't want him, and it leaves me feeling bitter that I always have to deal with the tantrums when he's there as well. He does put in effort and try now, but the bonding is strong and he's not her comfort if I'm there. He gets the fun and I get the stress from her. Feels unfair. Of course, I get the snuggles and cuddles too, but in the moment when I'm about to pull my hair out, I feel angry with him. So please, bond with your kid and learn to comfort them early on. Story 16. Probably too late to be read, but I've always struggled with the idea of being the father that my kids need, not the one I want to be. Growing up, I always noted things that I thought would be cool for a dad to do with his kids. Sometimes you have to let go of that and be open to understanding what exactly is happening, not just standing there with a hammer in your hand, waiting for a nail to come along. Story 17. Don't tease them about stuff, please, and keep sarcasm low as well. My dad makes it so difficult to talk to him about anything because he will just tease me about it later on. It just gets to the point where I don't even bother. And now it's like we don't even have a relationship. Story 18, you don't have to know what you're doing. In fact, you won't know what you're doing. Don't be too prideful to ask for help. Find some fellow dads that have been doing it a while to ask for advice. And preferably not a grandparent, as they will be biased. Also, if you value your relationship with your significant other, don't stop dating and making your relationship a priority. It will be very easy to go into survival mode for the kid, but realize they won't be there forever, and you'll end up alone if you don't. Story 19. I like what someone said about doing as much as your wife. Be hands-on, don't fall into the stereotypes that women need to do this and men shouldn't. I always correct people when they say, "Oh, you were babysitting the kids?" My response is always the same. My wife isn't paying me. She isn't leaving $20 on the counter for pizza. Those are my kids. It's not called babysitting. It's parenting. My main advice, soak up moments. All the moments. We film everything. Sometimes we just set the camera up and let it run. My oldest is 4 years old. I'll watch videos of her as a baby and get choked up. So I can't imagine what I'll be like when they're all grown. But be a team. Having a kid is the most challenging thing a marriage will face. Story 20. In the words of my father to me, one day it will be 3 a.m. and the baby is screaming, and nothing you do will calm it down. It's perfectly natural to want to throw it out the window. Just don't do it.